what we're seeing here, right? What we're talking about, 10 reps, 9 reps, 4 targets, 3 targets. Remember what Ricky Pearsall's job on this team is. Ricky Pearsall's job is to be, at any given time, the 5th option. Now, not on any given play, but who's going to get more targets than him? McCaffrey will, Kittle will, Debo will, Ayuk will, Jennings will. Okay, so it makes him the 6th.
I'm not sure about Jennings, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's just, but the point is that his job is going to be to run whatever his play count is. Okay, throw out a number. Let's say 12 snaps a game. What do you think of that number? High, low?
I think it could grow as the season goes along.
Let's say 14.
I think the 49ers hope it does.
Let's say it's 14 snaps. His job is going to be 14 times to run the right route and be in the right place and be ready for the ball that will come 3 times, right? And on those 3 targets, he better be ready to catch it. And I think that is part of being a receiver. That's part of being a receiver on this team especially. And so far, through 2 days of padded practice, he looks the same on every rep. And he makes himself a target, an available target on almost every, from my count, 18 of the 19 reps. And the one that he was not an available target, he was taken away by double coverage. Today, he was on the field for 9 11-on-11 team snaps, a couple of those, 2 of those being red zone. Of those 9 snaps, 7 of them were pass plays. Of those 7 pass plays, he was targeted 4 times. Of those 4 targets, he caught 2 balls. I thought he made himself an available receiver on 8 of the 9 plays. One of the 9th, which was his last rep, which he was not open on, was a play in the red zone where there was safety help over the top, and the route was just not going to work. So what he did in his first rep today was against Mooney Ward. Now, you and I were talking about this a little bit. I had him open on that play. I had the ball behind him on that play. I think you called it a drop. We could debate. Maybe the ball was intentionally behind him, which is what you thought may have occurred there with George Odom, the safety, coming over. And happens. I did not think it was a quote unquote drop worthy play. I thought it was going to be even a tougher catch than the ball that he did not catch yesterday that I did call a drop. Do you want me to keep running through these, or do you want to give your a perspective on that play?
Well, it's funny because you're about to get to the play that he made the CIRCA sensational catch on, and that reminded me of the play in Florida that he made the insane circus catch on even after getting drilled. So perhaps I have a higher standard now for Ricky Pearsall just because I know how good he can make some of these catches.
Yeah.
I do think that Odom was coming over the top of the play that you're talking about, and I do think that Purdy intentionally threw it a little bit behind Ricky Pearsall so that he wouldn't get hit by the safety. That being said, it made it a really tough catch. And so I would argue that it was a good throw from Brock Purdy, but it wasn't the best decision, because if you have to put it in that position just so your receiver has a decent chance at it and doesn't stand a chance of getting lit up, you probably shouldn't be going to that receiver. In the big picture, it's a minor critique of Brock Purdy, but that's the way that I saw it. The ball, it was kind of at his hip, but behind him. When you're moving so quickly across the middle of the field, I agree with you. That is a very tough catch. I just have Ricky Pearsall making insane catches already on highlight tapes that I've seen. So I thought that he's made tougher. But that being said, I do think that the truth is right at the sweet spot of what we're discussing right now.
Yeah, I'll say this as an aside before I go on to play number 2, which is I heard Brock Purdy say, anything that touches, Brock Purdy basically said today, anything that touches his hand, he catches. I haven't seen that yet. Now, you mentioned a catch that he makes, which I'll get to, which was an excellent catch, like a fantastic catch. I don't think he has, not I don't think, I know, he has not dropped a ball that is a bad drop yet. There have been a couple balls that have hit his hands that he has not caught. That's
the Mordecai one yesterday.
The Mordecai one yesterday, actually, I thought was more catchable than the one today, even though it was also going to be a spectacular catch if he made it, because he had to go up very high. But he hasn't had a drop. Like Tariq Owens had 2 just flat drops today. Cam Latu had a drop. Danny Gray, who did not practice today, has had some just flat drops. Ricky Pearsall's not had that. He looks very consistent. His floor looks high. His hands are trustworthy. His tempo is good. He's always in rhythm. And I wonder if Brock just really trusts him. I'm not willing to jump to, if it just touches his hands, he catches it. I think we've gotten there with Ayuk. I'm not there yet with Pearsall. Ayuk, as his career went on, we found that his catch radius was very big for a player of his size. Ricky can jump. We'll see truly how big his catch radius is. But
side note on Ayuk, his wingspan is about Megatron's.
Yes.
And he's 6 foot tall at most, maybe 6'1", probably 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
So he's got the wingspan of a 6'5" receiver, but he's 6 feet tall, which is exactly the combination that you want, because he's got the quickness of a smaller guy, short area quickness with his feet. So he could separate, but then he could grab those contested footballs with that big wingspan. You want this guy playing for you. I mean, both you and I have talked about the contract negotiations with Brandon Ayuk. We can get back to Ricky here in a second. I think you might still have a few more in the log. But side note on Ayuk, this is a player who might not have the same type of leverage just because of the position that he plays and the talent that the 49ers have at the other pass catching position. So he might not have the same type of leverage as Nick Bosa did last year and Trent Williams does this year. And the 49ers have him in a tough spot contractually for Brandon Ayuk to negotiate right now. But we can't pretend that he doesn't make them a whole lot better because of the skill set that he brings to the table.
Agreed. Play number 2. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. This was a run play that maybe it's just because he knows Brandon Ayuk. Maybe he's watched Brandon Ayuk film. Maybe it's just the reason he was drafted is he's this guy. But blocking against Chase Lucas all the way to the end of the play. What would have been all the way through the whistle. Impressive from Ricky Pearsall on snap number 2. Snap number 3, a scramble play where he is open. Purdy throws it somewhere else. Play 4, open over the middle. Ball goes somewhere else. Play 5. This is the play you were talking about. He's matched up with D Winters. This is where you also miss Ayuk, is like getting to see Brandon Ayuk against Diamador Lenore, getting to see Brandon Ayuk against Mooney Ward. We've had it a few times where Pearsall lines up against Ward or Yadam, or in this case, when you see him and D Winters line up, you go, okay, this is the perfect situation for a quick pass in the flat. Who's going to win this rep? They both were really good. I thought it was a positive rep for D Winters. It's Pearsall in the flat. Winters is right there. Ball gets popped up in the air. I had it as a catch. I was standing with John Dickinson. He thought it was incomplete. The referee there had it as a catch, but the ball gets popped in the air. Winters is on Pearsall's back. There's 4 arms fighting for that ball, and Pearsall with one brings it down.
Inbound.
I thought get both feet down, lands face down on the ground, Winters on his back, and he completes the catch, the process of the catch. So I thought it was a really excellent play from Ricky Pearsall.
It was just a really good football play, right? Because you're exactly right. If a linebacker can blanket a receiver who could generate that kind of separation in the way that Winters did, that's a win for D Winters. But then Ricky Pearsall still found a way to make the catch, which is a win for him. It's actually the type of play that you love to see in training camp if you're a coach, especially the head coach, because you'll normally pull your hair out. Every good offensive play might mean that the defense was doing something wrong, and every great defensive play might mean that the offense was doing something wrong. This is one of the rare examples of a play where you can look at it if you're Kyle Shanahan and be really happy about the effort of both guys, right? Both D Winters and Ricky Pearsall. I thought, by the way, arrow up, arrow down. Why don't we finish your Ricky Pearsall?
Yeah, I won't go through there's 4 here. I'll just tell you. And then we had the touchdown, right? In the red zone. He scores a touchdown, gets wide open. It was hard for me to tell. Maybe you could tell. Jair Brown after the play looked like talking to somebody. I don't know if there was some confusion there. But
you know what they did there?
What did
They split McCaffrey out wide, and there was a whole lot of DB attention on McCaffrey underneath. Pearsall was able to slip in
wide ass open.
Yep, wide open. So, you don't have Ayuk on the field who can open up stuff like that, but CMC is still there, and if you use him in the red zone correctly, that could be a big benefit. Because what they did, they've run that a lot. McCaffrey on little angle routes, or when he's coming out of the backfield, or on the little slant routes, or he'll just sit down on a little hook because he's able to do that too. McCaffrey is an immediate threat. Alarm bells go off on the defensive side of the ball with the safeties and the linebackers when they see him out wide, especially in the red zone. And that really helped open things up in the back for Ricky Pearsall, who put on a really nice move to get away from Jair Brown.